Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our, I guess we can say, early afternoon Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers Day 2. This is the first afternoon update of the season.
And my first time being on the live feed updates.
Yes, welcome back.
Welcome back.
You were here
I'm
for
so excited.
You were here for the reaction last night that we did live.
Yep.
We did the cast preview. Those videos are up and in the description. But how are you feeling now that we're a day removed from the premiere and you've got some live feeds and you've gotten to see sort of how things are going?
I'm excited. It's good. I'm seeing some gameplay happening, and that's what I really wanted to see happen this season. People are talking. I was a little bit worried that was going to be a lot of, and I mean, there was a little bit of it, but a lot of, oh, and how are your kids? And tell me about your life and catch up. But I mean, there's some gameplay happening.
Well, what we'll do here is we've got a few different interesting things to talk about, including number one of my favorites, people always saying, oh, I'm going to be different this time. Just you wait. I'm going to change. And then they come in and they're the same exact thing.
We're looking at you, Tyler.
We'll talk about what Tyler is doing, but also possible nominations and the safety suite. We have some details as to kind of how it looks like this is going to work. Maybe these events are going to unfold today. I think it's going to happen before nominations, but remember, this is all very early. Things unfold and change on the feeds in real time. It is the nature of this beast. But before we go any further, if you guys enjoy this discussion, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, hit that notification bell, and support us further. Check those links in the description to the store and also our Patreon, where we have live chats, and you can just have a better way to support us through this entire crazy, and I think it is going to be crazy, summer.
Okay, so let's start off with the nominations and who it looks like Cody is kind of circling around. And these are two names that I think nobody wanted to hear on his lips, but here we are. It is looking like Janelle and Kaser are people that he's kind of circling around. And I mean, in a lot of ways, I get it. I mean, Janelle is such a huge threat and personality. If I came into the house, I saw Janelle there, I'd be worried. I mean, I'm not going to lie. But I was kind of surprised a little bit by that, because he was kind of talking a little bit about maybe not making super bad waves right away. Getting out Janelle is not a small move. Like, it's pretty big. But it does make sense. Janelle and Kaser have played together twice. I mean, I don't think this is related, but you never know. I mean, we saw that Cody and Tyler were talking in the storage room. I do not understand why everybody talks in the storage room, because everybody goes in there to get food. Like, if I walked in the storage room and I saw people talking, I would know what's going on, because everybody goes there. But anyways, Kaser walked in there while they were talking, so I mean, could that play a little bit into that? It might a little bit, that Cody's like, nuts.
It's okay. I'm trying to go back and forth with this, because I think the advantage for taking out a Janelle or a Kaser right now is, they are such old school players. They don't have that many relationships seemingly with a lot of the newer Big Brother players, so maybe you're not going to make too big of a wave. But it's just, I don't know. I think Janelle is obviously a very big threat, and I still think that she could win competitions, but I would be personally more worried about people who are a little bit more recent and could kind of fly under the radar a little bit. If you get rid of one of them, the other one is also still going to be there, and so they are probably going to want some sort of vengeance. But it seems like the two of them, maybe that's at least what's going on. The safety suite could change it. Keisha's name has been brought up, but it seems to be kind of okay, we don't really want to get rid of Keisha at this point. So that's at least kind of where we are. I don't know. Let us know in the comments who you think Cody should nominate. But more so than my head, my big brother heart is just like, come on. We haven't seen Kaser play since Big Brother All-Stars. The guy gets evicted all the time really early, so we don't actually really get to see him play that much in general.
And that was why when I heard Kaser's name come up, that I wasn't that surprised by it, because Kaser is somebody who doesn't really know a lot of people in the house. He doesn't have a lot of connections with people in the house. So if Cody's first intuition was to be like, okay, I'm going to get rid of some people that maybe people won't be that pissed off about, Kaser's a pretty good pick, even though I don't like what you're doing, Cody. But he's not a pick that's going to make people really mad.
The good news is this, and we'll get to it later when we talk about the safety suite.
Yeah.
Kaser's gonna have an opportunity here, and I think Kaser's aware enough that it's so bizarre to be talking like he's an old man in the house. Nobody in this house is old, but it is sort of like Kaser all of a sudden. He's looking around, and he's just like, I'm not one of the young people anymore. I don't have that much in common with some of these, like, crazy kids. Like, Tyler... He was not exactly Surfer Bro Tyler when Kaser first played. He was just kid Tyler.
It's true. But luckily there's a lot of, we'll call them older players, even though nobody's old. I mean, there are more people who are not 21.
Okay, let's talk about other sort of alliances. Because in the updates over the past couple that are on the channel, talked a little bit about, okay, is Nicole maybe working on something with Ian where the two of them can try to find a way to work together because they're winners? Mm-hmm. Cody and Tyler, it seems like they may have something going on. Nicole and Cody, it's inevitable that the two of them would talk. They played together. I don't know if they've been BFFs since the show ended, and they weren't even really in... Nicole wasn't in the Hitman. It's not like they were, a final two with each other then, but it seems like they have a respect for each other, and they've talked about doing this sort of secret alliance. Okay, let's just start here with this, because there's a lot of this going on in this, like, oh, people would never suspect if we're together. It's like, it doesn't matter if you hated each other on the original season, you at least know who that person is. People would be so dumb if they did not think that Nicole and Cody were going to share information, but they have this scheme where Cody's going to bro down with some bros, and shocker, and Nicole is going to get a girls' alliance going, and they're going to do this, and then they will share information with each other. It's okay.
It's just... I have been really surprised with the amount of people that know each other in the house, and everyone knows that they know each other, and then they're all like, let's sort of pretend like we don't talk anymore. Just stop with the nonsense. Like, this is All-Stars. You need to use what's at your disposal, and if it's like, oh yeah, we do know each other, what's the point in pretending like you're not that close? You played the game together. Like, there was even a little bit of that with Janelle and Kesar going on. You guys played together twice. Like, nobody's going to look at you guys and think that you are not friendly.
It's really just all about people are going to be about thinking, like, how dangerous are these two people together? Because they're going to assume that you are together on some level. And I think if you are in, a women's alliance with Nicole, you're probably thinking, oh, what information might Nicole be passing on to someone outside of this alliance? Because, even if Davon for some reason wasn't in this women's alliance, they still played together on 18, and there might still be Nicole may go and pass this information over to Davon.
Okay, so we need to talk about Tyler. So Tyler, in his package, said that he's not going to play the same game again, that he was, making these checks that he couldn't cash, and basically telling everybody that he's all good with everybody, and he thinks that cost him the game. So what is he doing? He's back here doing it again. He's got something going on with Cody. He sort of made this, possible sort of, we're going to go to the end together with David. He's also doing that with Bailey as well, that they're kind of like, let's kind of do this together. Bailey's been kind of trying to get some information about Cody. Oh, how much have you guys talked? And of course, Tyler's going to lie about it. I mean, it is part of the game, but it's also part of his game, where he's, of course, going to keep his alliances quiet and be like, we're friendly, it's fine, it's not anything big or whatever. When, of course, we all know that's not true. And I legit think that everybody in the house just would suspect that the two of them would be working together. I mean, they've both sort of, in their past games, have worked with other people that are kind of bros. They've both broed down. So if I looked around, I saw two, I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen.
I think Bailey, somewhere within her soul, she probably recognizes, okay, I have been around Tyler enough. I've played the game with Tyler enough. I know when Tyler may be laying it on a little bit thick. And we're making some assumptions here because we haven't seen diary rooms. We haven't seen enough conversations in general. I mean, the feeds haven't even been on for 24 hours yet. But Bailey is a pretty perceptive person who has also been played by Tyler before. So I think she is going to try to trust Tyler because, I think they've got a relationship now outside the game. I've seen Swaggy and Angela be complimentary towards each other on Instagram. So there is a friendliness that exists there. And I don't think Tyler is going to be out necessarily to hurt Bailey's game. I don't think he's going to be targeting her to any extent, but I think what Tyler is trying to do is, he's like a circus performer. He's like trying to juggle a bunch of different things that could turn into chainsaws that he is juggling.
Yeah, and I get his idea with this. Like, if somebody comes to you early and is like, do you want to be in an alliance? You say, yes, I want to be in an alliance. Let's work this out until you really figure out who it is you really want to go to the end with and you really want to work with. And then you can kind of distance yourself from some of these other alliances. The problem with Tyler is that he never actually distances himself from any of the other people. So he does find himself in these really hard positions where he has to actually expose that he's in like a final two with everybody.
The other big problem here is that the people Tyler's making alliances with right now, these are not, and this is no offense to JC or Sam, but I don't think we consider them top tier Big Brother players here. I think we have Cody, who, he's not Derek, but Cody's a smart guy. Cody had a deal with Derek that went very, very far. Yeah, he made a really catastrophic blunder at the end of it, but Cody's not dumb, and Bailey is perceptive, and David showed, he was eliminated, but he was eliminated because he didn't run around in the dark fast enough. It wasn't because he wasn't a good player.
And I'm kind of wondering, if Tyler really wants to play a bit of a different game, if he doesn't just go to Cody and kind of talk this out and say, you know what, I feel like it'd be really good to bring in David. He's really perceptive. Bailey's a really smart player. There's, more safety in numbers. It would be maybe a good idea to just kind of branch them into this and just make it a more solid four. And in that case, then Tyler doesn't put himself in this position where he has to choose this person over this person. Then they're like, we were in an alliance together. Why am I on the block? And then that happens again.
I would consider trying to get those people together. And then if you need to make Cody feel extra comfortable, just be like, bring in Nicole. Nicole F, I should say. That's the thing we got to get used to, is actually saying their last initials.
It feels a little bit like The Bachelor in this, where it's like, we've got two Nicoles. It's Nicole F and Nicole A. That's the only other place I've really heard that.
Yeah, pretty much everything we've talked about with Nicole so far in this video has been Nicole Franzel, if there's any confusion with that at all. But yeah, you bring in Nicole F because she played with Cody. Nicole, by the way, Nicole F, she's tried to get people to just call her Coco now, because it's sort of like, a nickname. She uses it on various stuff. I think it's even a part of her podcast or whatever.
Right, which is smart. I'm sure part of the reason she wants to be on here is to promote her podcast and what she's doing. Nicole A is also on here promoting her podcast and doing that sort of thing. And then we got Tyler's on here promoting his jewelry line. There's a lot of stuff that people are on here to do. So I get why Nicole F would be like, let's podcast.
So it's
a big opportunity. You have a huge audience here, right?
And I would honestly, if she wants to go by Coco and they start calling her Coco on the show, it's okay with me, because I have a hard time keeping it. Okay, I gotta say Nicole A here, Nicole F here. But anyway, that's our own.
But when we're talking about our own Coco Chanel Vanderbilt, we'll just say her whole name.
There we go. There's too many names. Too much confusing. But no, I think that if there was an alliance of Tyler, Cody, Nicole F, David, Bailey, that could be something that gets them reasonably far.
And then they can deal with it a bit later of when they got to cut each other.
Yeah, but that's just sort of just theoretical at the moment. We'll see if Tyler can find a way to mitigate this, because if these people all find out that he's making one-person alliances, it's going to blow up in his face. And I don't know if he can maintain it, but... Yeah,
and with David being as perceptive as he is with a lot of stuff, I think he's going to figure it out pretty quickly and just blow that up. I don't think that Tyler's going to be able to play the same game again with an All-Stars. I just don't know how he does it.
Yeah, and he's already having to pivot, because I think he assumed that Casey was going to be there. I think he thought that Josh was going to be there. And it sounds like Christmas, maybe there was sort of a pregame thing with Christmas, Josh and Kate. Maybe all of them had some sort of plan. So he's scrambling. But let's get to the safety suite because I think we have a sense as to how this is going to work. It could change. Some of this is theoretical based on what I've heard from the feeds at this point. But it seems like everyone's got sort of like this VIP lanyard sort of dealio. And what they got to do is they got to decide if they want to compete for whatever this power is going to be, which seems to be if you win it, you get safety, and it seems like you get to make somebody else safe as sort of your +1 for the safety suite. However, the twist here is that you have to be careful when you actually do decide to use it because it could potentially end up, exposing that you are in danger. It could expose that you are working with someone if you don't decide to play in it. You got to kind of be reserved with when you want to play it. There's a lot of strategy that really seems to be going into this.
Yeah, I mean, if I had something like that, I mean, if I don't play, then people are going to think that I'm probably working with the HOH or I have a really good relationship with the HOH, so it exposes me. If I do play and then I bring somebody along with me, then clearly that person I'm working with, this whole twist, it really feels like this is CBS's way of either exposing everybody's pregame alliances,
which is great.
Yeah,
do it.
And I had said that was what I thought was going to happen. They were going to have some sort of huge twist that was like, oh, you guys don't want to pregame and come on the show? Well, this is what we're going to do to you then. We're just going to expose it all right away, pretty quick, and that way everyone still has to be on the same sort of playing field here because this is a really dangerous power. Like, yeah, you get the safety, but playing, don't play, either way, you're exposing yourself. This is brutal.
Yeah, it seems as though there may be even a limit to how many times you can do it. I'm not 100%, but I think there is, and that kind of makes it okay. You got to time out when you want to do it as well. And there's a lot of different layers seemingly to this. And if you use it and you don't get anything, then you're just saying, oh, I'm in danger. But I hope that, if you're Kaser, you got to probably be aware of that you have some danger. I would play, obviously, in it. If you can win, then you can make yourself safe. And foreseeably, you could make Janelle safe as well because you might as well at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not having any real conversations with Cody, then I'd be worried. I would play.
Yeah, I think that would be something that if you're not having a lot of conversations, you got to try to go for it. But what's going to make this interesting, though, is let's say hypothetically, Kaser and Janelle, they both decide they want to compete in this.
Yeah.
But nobody else wants to compete in this because they don't want to expose anything right now. Like, then you're really just screwing over Cody because if they just make each other safe, then he's going to have to pluck 2 more names out, and that's a lot of potential trouble for him early on.
Yeah, this twist is bad for everybody. I mean, it can give someone safety, but then it still exposes them. It all comes at a price.
Yeah,
like Rumpelstiltskin. That's what's happening. CBS is Rumpelstiltskin.
This is the Rumpelstiltskin
we'll give you
twist.
This, but this is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's happening here.
I hope that we're going to have this happen over the next several hours. That way we can come back and discuss what the aftermath and the ramifications of it are. Hopefully it's something that people will really actively sort of talk about. I'm like I have all these weird odds about it in my head because it's like I want in a way to see Kaser or Janelle win it because I don't want this to be a predictable week. But then I also worry because then maybe Cody's going to nominate other people I really like because I like so many people this season.
And I'm kind of interested to see how it goes because it sounds like you're playing this before the nominations are going to come out. So you are exposing so much about yourself and your game and who you're working with before anything has even happened yet. So say someone that maybe wasn't on Cody's radar is now maybe going to be on it if they're just like, oh, I better play this and I'm going to bring so-and-so with me, then maybe Cody will be like, okay, well, I can't get them this week, but maybe I can get them another week. Clearly they have a problem with me or they think I have a problem with them. Well, now I do.
I don't want to say I like this twist yet because it may end up.
It's evil.
It may make me really mad later, and that's the thing with these. But it's not the worst twist that they've come up with in the early going.
It's diabolical.
Remember, like the roadkill competition? We were all doing the weird stuff in the trailer. Like this is better than some of the other things they've had. But anyway, we'll conclude this update. We'll be back later for the late afternoon / evening, and then of course we'll have a late night update as well. But for now, what do you think about the safety suite? Are you worried for Janelle or Kaser? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further. Check that link to the store, to our Patreon. We appreciate you guys for watching so much.
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you here next time.